Coming up on Graybeards Nation, we're diving into our RSD Black Friday hauls. We'll be reviewing the limited vinyl releases and our overall happiness with our purchases. So stick around.
Yes! We're kicking off our first show under our new name. And today, we're diving into a few of our Record Store Day Black Friday finds.
We'll be grading each title on sound quality, performance, and overall happiness. So let's see if these RSD titles live up to the hype.
The first one I have up, and actually, to be quite honest, the only one I have up today, is the B.B. King, live in France at the 1977 Nancy Jazz Pulsations Festival. This is a not to be unexpected. This is a fantastic B.B. King performance. Like I've mentioned many times, he has not made a subpar album in his career. His live albums tend to be spectacular events where the looseness of his playing, the stretching of his notes really can stand out as opposed to the just normal excellence of his studio recordings. One of my favorite B.B. King songs ever, Caledonia, is the first cut that you'll hear, Blue Monk / Caledonia, and it lives up to all the hype. There's a horn section that plays along B.B. I think his little brother or little cousin actually is the tenor saxophone playing with him, and the band leader, by the way. And Caledonia, which is a horn-sensitive tune, really shines on this. One of the things that, Todd, I know I mentioned to you earlier today about this album is it reminded me that B.B. King isn't just a fantastic blues guitarist. He's also one of the best blues singers ever. And in this album, he has hit his peak at both singing and his guitar playing. And you'll hear on this album, there's many things that stand out to me. But his vocals and his delivery of the vocals and the feeling from the gut of what blues means really comes out.
So, Lair, what makes this recording special? I mean, it's obviously live in France.
Yeah.
Has it ever been released before?
I don't believe this album has, and it's also going to be released on CD, I think, in the next couple weeks.
So, Lair, based on our grading of this sound quality, how was the sound quality on this from 1 to 5?
Yeah, I'd give it a 4.5.
Okay.
And I will tell you that if this was a studio recording, I'd give it a 4. If it's a live recording, which it is, I'd give it a 5. I'm just going to say a 4.5 right in the middle there. I will tell you, though, that I was amazed at how some of the sound came out of my speakers.
So obviously the performance was good. So that was our second grading criteria.
Yeah, the performance I would
1
give
to
a
5. Yeah,
yeah.
5. Yeah,
Yep.
definitely. It sounds like
Yep.
it. How about
Yep.
overall happiness, Lair? Were you?
I'd say a 4.8. I'll just go in the middle there and say that once again, and there's tremendous amount of B.B. King fans out there. If you're one of them, go buy it.
All right, Lair. I picked up a few. One of those that I was really anticipating here was this Tangerine Dream album. Now, look, it's an interesting album. It's got one aqua color and one orange color. Now, it's kind of a yellowish orange. I was a tiny bit disappointed with this, and I'll tell you why. This album was live, and I expected to hear some, live background. It sounds to me like this was recorded right off of the board, and you heard hardly any audience. And what it could be is that the audience was actually so stoned they just fell asleep.
Todd, we're going to have to do a shorty cast on live albums that don't even sound live, because quite frankly, that don't make sense to me. If you're going to record a live album, let's hear the audience. I never had a Tangerine Dream, but I've had Lemon Drop Dreams, but I don't know that that's the same. So let's talk specifics.
Okay.
not your favorite album, but what
No.
was the sound quality?
Sound quality was phenomenal. Just like, every one of my titles, I listen to the sound quality. The technology today, especially with all the computerized mastering tools and things that are out there, sound quality was phenomenal. The bass was nice and deep. The mids and the highs were great. It played wonderfully through my stereo. It was cut well on good vinyl, so that it was a little short, these sides. I think it was, it could have probably fit onto one album, but they did cut the grooves a little bit wider, so you did get some good sound quality out of it. So, from sound quality perspective, I'll give it a 4 out of 5.
Okay. Now, how about the performance of the show itself?
Again, it sounded like, me and a buddy sitting in his basement with all this equipment and just kind of farting around for a couple of hours. And then it was all great and everything. I'm just going to have to say probably maybe a 3.
So I'm going to ask you a question. I don't mean to put you on the spot. Maybe you answer this question in the next show or something. But if you like Tangerine Dream, but this is not your favorite Tangerine Dream, and it's not maybe even a keeper, what would be a Tangerine Dream album for somebody that doesn't know their music that would be a good intro to them?
Anything that was pressed between 1967 and 1971. You're going to get a good deal. That was the psych era. A lot of great things were done. There was some singing and, some instrumental stuff. That's where you're going to find your best Tangerine Dream. I guess in 1974, they just kind of went down a different direction. They didn't, on this album, they didn't really play any of the, the good stuff that we're used to hearing, some of the psych era stuff. I'd say overall there, I'll give it a 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's your happiness with the purchase.
Yeah, overall. Yeah.
Okay.
The other title that I want to talk about, since I listened to a few more than you did, was the Big Brother and the Holding Company with Janice Joplin. And this was at the Grand Ballroom in Detroit, Michigan, 1968. I got to tell you that Big Brother and the Holding Company and Janice Joplin were on spot here. I don't know why this hasn't been released earlier. I don't think it has, but I will tell you it's on, it's on the Columbia label, the 2i. And I will tell you this sounds really good. And I've heard, here's an example. This is an RSD Black Friday from a couple of years ago, Big Brother and the Holding Company. This was at the Monterey Pop Festival.
Yeah.
And I think this day 1 is on one side, day 2 is on another. And they were so stoned and drunk that the guitars were all over the place. The singing was terrible. Crap was falling everywhere. It was terrible. And I was thinking, well, I'm taking a big chance by doing this one. I would say that this was phenomenal. So yeah, if you got a chance to pick this up and you heard it, or if you haven't and it's still available at your record store and you like Janice Joplin and you like this era of music, I highly suggest picking it up. It's great.
So what would you say, and that's obviously a live performance, correct?
It is.
Yeah. What would you say about the sound quality of the album?
No, the sound quality was phenomenal. I would venture to say 4.5 out of 5.
Okay. All right. And the performance, I think you've already insinuated.
I would give that, I would definitely 4.5 on that for sure.
Okay.
Best I've heard.
And you were certainly happy with that purchase.
I was, yeah. I would give that, I would just go 4.5 across the board.
Well, you better if you gave 4.5 for the first 2 categories.
I guess it wouldn't add up then, would it?
No. It's always a bit of a gamble with the Record Store Day releases, and probably even more so with the Black Friday Record Store Day releases. Some of these don't quite deliver the goods, some of them, while some really hit the mark. The ones that really get us excited about not only what we're listening to now, today, but for the next Record Store Day.
Exactly. It's all about the thrill of the hunt and seeing what these limited editions can bring to the table. If you've grabbed any of these titles, let us know what you thought of them, or if you've grabbed some that we haven't talked about. We'd love to hear your take.
Thanks for tuning in to our very first Graybeards Nation cast. We've got more music goodness coming your way soon, we promise. Until then, keep spinning the music.
And keep supporting your local record shops. And we'll see you next time on Graybeards Nation.